Yesterday was such a nice day, I decided to test the repaired Vandal and see if it was actually repaired. So I set up in the carport. Because I got my camera holder fixed, I could put my cell phone back on a tripod with the little 5.8 video receiver and just put me a chair there in the carport. Started testing the Vandal. I tested it for about 40 minutes total. I was out there an hour and a half or so because I brought it back inside. I worked on the expo for the steering, so my poor old reflexes could handle something this fast. And I worked on getting better video right off the bat. I put a pagoda antenna on both sides based on some information I've seen. And then I just ran it up and down the driveway. I did bump up the power on the video transmitter so that I could get all the way around the house without losing video. And then basically I was sort of testing battery and some other things. Now you can see here immediately when I go off that asphalt, the video starts getting bad. I found that to be vibration eventually based on these videos, and I'll show you how I came to that. I'm not sure about the camera placement. Right now it is in a place where when it rolls over it protects the camera. The camera's low enough where the wing and the body itself keeps the camera from touching the ground. So it may be a little low, but probably will keep that. Notice how the video is now kind of clearer. I'm right next to the receiver, so that's one reason. But again, without all the vibrations. Now our driveway asphalt's pretty alligatored up. I'll learn where the holes are and the rough part, because there's a rough part coming up right there where Pam is. Right in there's a rough part. So if I'm trying to do a high-speed run, that'll probably get me in trouble. Kind of slopped out into the field there, but it's no problem. At this point, I had 5 minutes on a RC car in my whole life. At the end of this testing, I had 45 minutes now of experience with RC cars. And there's some big holes in there. Like I say, I'm going to have to learn the driveway. This part of the driveway from here up to the carport's pretty darn smooth. And I was looking at some things on the expo right here on the radio, so it looks like I'm not doing much. I'm not going to show you the whole 40 minutes of video. I'm just going to show you little excerpts of it. So let me forward this up to one of the places where I learned something. So here we are. We're going to go around the house in a clockwise direction. I'm still pretty close to the video transmitter right here, but right in here the house gets between me. So that's a little bit of the video breakup besides the antenna being loose. I actually found the antenna was loose. I also put, told you I put pagoda antennas on both sides. That helped the reception a lot, but we'll get into that in a little bit of other video. I can't see very well because the screen size is like 2 inches by 1.5 inches in front of me. I'm sure I'll get more used to that. But notice here as I move on to the asphalt, bink. The video just really cleared up. I think it's not totally clear. Again, right now I'm close to the carport. I'm close to the receiver, so even with no antenna, it would probably pick up good right in this area. But again, now we go on to the gravel. A little break up. Not too bad here. This is because the house and actually dirt. I'm getting down in elevation below where I'm sitting. So it's not just building, it's actually just a bunch of dirt. But you can see how the video is breaking up. These are some of my first complete trips around the house with the Vandal. So I'm learning everything. And again, we're going to go back onto the asphalt here. Dink. Video clears right up. So at that point, I took it inside, tightened down the antenna, and for the rest of the working with it, it was a much better video, even on the gravel portion. But after I knew I could go around the house, I kind of started trying to do full speed passes down the driveway, back up the driveway. Mostly, I wanted to test battery life. You can see some of those bad holes in the asphalt. In this area, the asphalt's pretty good too. It's just right. There's a couple of holes, but right in here, it's alligatored up and got some holes. Here to the top of the hill, it's pretty good. Now there is a little ditch across the asphalt right there. That is where the water line was buried across the yard, and it's not going to be smooth there. Going to be quite a bump. I think this is where I rolled it. Yep. 360. Just too much power. Yes, I do know I said there wouldn't be any more really fast passes because I didn't want to turn it over and break it. But when I found out it can turn over now without breaking and I have the repair parts, of course I went right back for fast passes. Now another problem on the upper part of the driveway is there's what looks like a speed breaker, but it's not. Right there. You can see the wheels come up, and you can see it again right there. That bump is a speed breaker like asphalt that was there to try to keep the water from rain from running in the back door. Put in that little hump of asphalt, and it kind of kept the water going to the left side of the house and down the hill without going in the back door. Well, until it started raining so bad lately, hard, so many inches per hour, that now it gets so deep there it just still comes back into the door part. So basically what you see now, I shouldn't have been driving past my wife because my skill with it is not too good yet, and it weighs 4 pounds 1 3/4 ounces, and I don't know how fast it goes. She said it was going pretty fast. I did get several full speed passes in up and down like I'm going right now, but I have no idea how fast it was going because I have no way to measure that. It doesn't have a GPS, any kind of thing for speed on it. So, but I did get full speed passes. The rest of the video is much like this, and I'll put the whole video up on another post. If you want to look at it, you can. But I kind of think it's boring in a way. It's just me getting time on an RC car for the first time in life. Well, some of you also know what's going on here. You know that I'm going to turn this into a high-speed rover drone, don't you? Oops, that's where I hit the wall. A little wall there. That was also to keep the water from coming in the back door at one point before the asphalt went up, and it didn't work either. Anyway, so I was just getting time on the car, getting used to it, getting the Expo down on the front, and so I could keep it on this narrow asphalt so I could find out how fast it really goes. Guess I don't have to show you hitting the wall again. But I will show you the back flip off of the tree. Last time I had it out, did the same thing. Different tree. There's your back flip off of the tree. Now after that back flip, you'll notice here, I checked it out, and when I put it back down and started to drive it away, I noticed that my ability to turn right was compromised. There's a left, there's right. That ain't much right. So I stopped it, went down, looked at it a little more, looking at the, see, it just doesn't turn far to the right. This is hard right here. Just making a big circle in this top part to see how I can do. And it is a big circle. Shouldn't be that big. If I hit it hard left, you can see it's a small circle. So I noticed at that point I was having trouble turning right. Didn't know why. And just made note of it. And continued with my testing. Then when I reviewed the video after this, I figured it out. I did use a Pagoda antenna this time on one of the diversity channels on the SkyDroid 5.8 receiver that I was using. I found some new information on some antenna stuff that I'll relate later. There were a few little problems on the car. The antenna is no problem. These straighten right out. No big deal whatsoever. Straighten that right up. There's two problems. One was these wires were hanging out from underneath the body, and as you can see, they drug along the ground, and now I'm going to have to fix them. So I'll be doing that later. And also, I did find that, let me get something, I'll be right back. And the other problem was the front wheels don't seem to turn as far to the right as they do to the left. So I'm going to have to work on that a little later. But that wasn't the stopping factor. So that's the only two little problems that occurred. And we'll just get them fixed right up. No problem whatsoever. When I was editing the video, I noticed when I was talking about my wheels turning to the right problem, I saw what it was. You can see this little, this is the ESC. You can see this moving back and forth in the video. And then when I came over and looked at it, this wire right here from the ESC was out over this control horn like this, and that's what wouldn't let it go. It lets it go to the right, but it doesn't let it go fully forward if it's hooked over the control horn. And after I saw what it was, why it was there, actually I started to say I did this, but I didn't.
I thought at first I did it when I tie wrapped this up, but no, actually, when I put it, if you go back and review videos and stuff, this is where I put the RC receiver in, and it had so much control wire on it that I just ran that back and forth a bit, and then I cut the tie wrap that was here and put another one on it just so it would hold the wire for the RC receiver. So no, I've actually not touched that one. But the fix for the steering knob going all the way to the right is going to be to pop this off, and I guess I'll pull it over to this member here and tie wrap it back down, and that should keep it well away from that control arm on that servo. Now I feel really lucky because it didn't pull the wire out of the ESC or damage it down there in any way, and it really didn't damage it on the back. Okay, I can feel it. It's a little bit bent on the inside, the metal itself, but that'll straighten out. But it didn't break the insulator and stuff, so I think I got away with one there. That's not going to be too bad. Well, in my humble opinion, that seems to be the fix. Like I say, I cut the tie wrap, and instead of tie wrapping on this part right here, I went to the center one, and that pulled the wires more towards the center, and now it doesn't even come out to the arm, and even when the arm's in the full rearward position, although it does touch, it doesn't even touch enough to come close enough to hook anymore. So that should fix that. Let's fire it up and see what the radio says. Okay, right. Hey, I like that. I have full control again. Yeah, I put 80% Expo in it today. This is, I'm just going to be moving the sticks back here. Let's see if I can keep it all in frame. No, probably not at this zoom level. Right now, this is the way it came out of the box. You can see a little stick movement in the middle. Now, if I turn on the Expo, see how it calms down with the same bit of stick movement? I'm telling it to ignore. Right there's about where it starts working again. So let me go back. See that movement? Now I'm going to turn on the Expo. You see how it dampens down for the same amount of stick movement? Because I'm telling it to ignore 80% of my movement, but it's only inside the center section. Let's see if I can actually show you where that is. It's only inside the center section of the stick. There's no Expo. This is the throttle. This is the rate on the throttle. Dual rates on the throttle. So you can see if you take the throttle stick up, as you move it up, it raises the throttle. Now, when I flip this switch, I go to 80% Expo, exponential. The movement that's being sent to the receiver is exponential to what my input is. So, in the center, my old shaky hands don't run it off the road as fast. And I'll just flip it on and off a couple of times so you can see what I'm doing there. I'm flattening the throttle response inside the center stick position. Without Expo, with Expo. When I was a young man at almost 68. But it helps. that's how I was doing high-speed runs today. So back to the other problem. I get sidetracked a lot. So the right and left, being able to turn fully right and left has been fixed. And there's actually a problem from the factory. This is the first tie wrap I put in that position. I did cut this one and put this one on when I put the receiver on, as I said before, but nope. This is a factory. So if you own one of these, you might want to look at that. If you're having this problem, maybe you just found your answer.
Three things occur here. One of the right front tire locks up, which causes a wreck. And then after the wreck, I have a throttle accident. I'm glad this is a Rover, or I could have gotten hurt. I posted a video yesterday on Facebook showing how things like it's going to happen here that I'll show you can harm you badly. But anyway, let's start with the first thing, the right front wheel here. As I came back onto the asphalt from the gravel part of our driveway that goes all the way around the house. Even though I was on the asphalt, there was a piece of gravel there the size of a marble, and it lodged in the right front between the hub of the wheel and one of the cross members. And you'll see what you're going to witness here is the right front wheel is going to lock up completely, which causes the thing not to do what I'm wanting it to do. So, of course, I'm horsing the controls around inside the carport, watching the monitor. And you're going to see what that causes is me to basically overcompensate to the left, because of course the stopped wheel is pulling me to the right when the right wheel is locked up. And when I see that that didn't work and I let off the controls, the lock wheel runs me off the side of the road and down the bank. Watch the right wheel, there it locked up. And see, I'm not getting where I want to go, so I gun it and I turn it to the left. I'm not going to the left because the locked up wheel is still pulling me right. Get out on the asphalt, gun it, and of course it goes straight. Well, that's like a 3 or 4 foot bank down into all sorts of weeds and sawbriars. I walked down there and got it out, handed it to Pam, reached up for Pam's hand so she could help me get back up the bank. And then, of course, my radio's hanging around my neck. So here's my mistake and what could have hurt somebody. Not in this case, usually, sort of. But my radio's hanging around my neck. And when I get the rock out and get everything ready to go again and set it down, because everything's powered up and ready to go, I accidentally hit the throttle and zoop, there you go. Across the road it ran. I just got the throttle back down to 0 before it went into the ditch on that side, which would have been about 6 feet down into a foot of water. So I posted a guy on YouTube got his fingers cut by an airplane in this exact fashion. I posted that the day before yesterday, the day before I did this run, and then this day I did exactly the same thing he did and bumped my throttle with the radio hanging around my neck. Luckily it was just a ground vehicle for me, so it ran across the road and I cut the throttle and stopped it before it went into that ditch. But had it been an airplane, a quad, hexa, any other bladed platform, I could have gotten cut pretty badly. So that's basically the gist of everything that got done yesterday. A lot of fun. There were a lot of learning experiences. There was a lot of improvement on everything. I now have 40 more minutes of driving an RC car for the first time in my life. I got everything put back together and it all works well. The video transmitter, the camera. I'm pretty happy with it. Wish I didn't have to deal with that ditch and that speed breaker basically, but I do here. So I will stick the video that the 40 minutes basically. I will post that just as a raw video. You can watch that if you like or not if you don't. And I'll just end this here and say thank you for watching. It looks like the Vandal is back and better than ever. Oops, it needs some repairs. It will get them. Then it will be then better than ever. Maybe it has to wait until that little electrical abrasion gets repaired, but then it'll be back up. And basically it'll be a little RC car for me to play with for a while. And those of you who know me will know that at some point it will get a flight controller, be turned into a rover, completely autonomous platform, and we'll see what I can do with some autonomous missions with a rover that I could not catch if my life depended on it. So if it does something wrong, we could have some real humor in the future. Again, thank you so much.